Kinda new with apologies. Holding back, I got history. Yeah, yeah. But the way you've been crossing the line, oh, it's something in me that says it's fine. Hoping you wouldn't change.
Another day, another video. So last time we left off on today, but we have been like prepping the house. That way we can start working in the kitchen. I went shopping and got citrus strip for the coffee table. So we are going to get working on the coffee table, the kitchen. You guys might see some drywall going up in this video. Lots and lots going on. So if you guys saw my last video, you would have saw the start of this coffee table. I sanded it. I tried using the oven cleaner method, which I've used before with really good success. But I think because this has more of a rustic look to it, it just wasn't clinging to the areas I needed to cling it to. So I decided to try citrus strip. This ended up working really, really well, especially on the legs, which are a more difficult area to sand and do anything with. And it really got into those deeper crevices that were really holding on to the stain. So definitely going to use citrus strip more often. It's, I would say, just as time consuming as the oven cleaner, but it is a little bit messier because you got to scrape off the excess and everything. But I love the way it turned out. So I'm definitely going to be trying this on the dresser and nightstands that I have bought as well. One thing I do not show in this video is after I got done scraping like the majority of the goop off, because you definitely want to scrape as much of this off first. I ended up taking it outside, hosing it down really well, scrubbing it off with a bristle brush just to make sure everything was off of it and it was out of all the little crevices and everything. That way it just worked a little bit better. I also recommend trying to work in sections. I did the whole coffee table. It probably would have been better for me to like start with the top or the bottom and then do the next section. But it ended up working out in the end okay. But I do, like I said, I ended up taking it outside. Nice thing about Florida is it is hot, so things dry fast. And with this being a solid wood piece, I know I can wet it down and then let it dry and do it that way. You usually don't want to overly soak stuff, so making sure you can get it dried off and not just letting the water pool on it is very, very important. The other thing is to trust the process. It's really easy to look at this, especially the wood's wet because it's had this goop on it, and feel like it's not working, but as it dries it lightens up so much. So this is later in the evening. Bobby had actually been working on putting in our security system. We ended up going with, I believe, Simply Safe. I think that's who he decided on to get our security system, as well as working on the pool and stuff like that. So later that evening, though, we wanted to get these cabinets down. That way we could, the next day, work on tearing down all these soffits. The plan was to take the cabinets down, tear down the soffits, and then the drywall guy come out and fix all the drywall. Unfortunately, that ended up falling through, just wiring, and the drywall guy didn't know how thick our plaster is. So we are still waiting on drywall, but we at least, it's getting there. There's always going to be the ups and downs with renovations. Nothing's ever going to go smoothly, and if you just keep that in your head that never is it going to be completely smoothly, you're probably going to be way happier. Okay, so I had to stop real quick and show this. So, I told you there was a window here. It was literally like cardboard for a fake window.
Yeah.
And it was barely held in. So, luckily, with it being open, it goes into the screen area. Not a huge deal. But, yeah.
Right. What's your order?
What's your order? So, we're gonna, oh, that scared me.
That feeling rushing through my body. I know that it is here to stay. It's like you're my personal Illuminati. I know that some might say that I am just a bad girl, but if you treat me right.
So the other thing is this little like fake wood panel she put on the wall and painted blue, I thought was just brad nailed in, and it was like super glued, like the strongest glue you can imagine. So I still have to work on getting that down. My dad actually had a good idea, and he said to take a heat gun to it to try and loosen up the glue, because even with the little like spatula thing I had, it was not coming down for the life of me. All I kept doing was cutting my hands trying to get that thing down. Also, we thought this side of the cabinets was multiple pieces. It was one piece, and it was heavy. It was so heavy, but we got it down. Luckily, between Bobby and I, we were able to muscle it off the wall and not break our brand new refrigerator.
Listen and relax. From here on, you don't have to say a word. So just
So this is our contractor, John, and his girlfriend that had come over. We were just kind of showing the different stuff that we were doing in the house. This was her first day over at our house. She was going to help John do a bunch of the grout in the bathroom and whatnot. So we were just chit-chatting since it was the first time I met her, and just kind of showing her around the house, especially since she is really into design. So she absolutely loves this stuff. However, getting these soffits down was not easy. So Bobby ended up going into the attic and kicking down the first half of it, because trying to do it without it even started was so difficult. Like I said, our plaster is so thick, so the drywall guy wasn't able to do it because, one, he thought it'd be like a 2-day project. It's going to turn into a 5-day project, as well as we had to rerun some wiring that was hanging below the joists to go above them. That way when the drywall goes in, it can go in flush. They had a couple different wires going through these soffits. Luckily, nothing too major, and Bobby's really good at that stuff, so we can do it ourselves, but this was a huge project and super messy. We had to stop multiple times just to clean so we had space to work around. I also ended up calling my dad because my dad is awesome and is willing to help us whenever we need help. I don't like asking for help that much, but there are just times when it's like, okay, we need it. So he came over. You'll see him in a little bit to really help us get this down, because originally our plan was we would get this down and the next day the drywall guy would come in. Here you can see the insane amount of mess. We are going to have to re-insulate the attic, but we have decided that we're not going to do that probably for a couple of months. Purely that way, any demo that's going to have the insulation falling out, that we're not messing with it. So once we have all the new light fixtures put in and any drywall stuff fixed, that's when we're going to end up going and probably renting one of those insulation blowers and re-insulate the whole attic, because we've definitely lost a lot of insulation with this process. But when you guys see it, it makes the kitchen feel so much larger, so much more open. It honestly makes one of the biggest impacts of things that we've done in this house. So I was dying in the last couple of videos of people saying my dad looks like Sammy Hagar. It went from Sammy Hagar to Albert Einstein to, I can't even remember the other guy. But if you guys are not following me on Instagram, go follow me over on Instagram, because I was sharing all sorts of polls and pictures. I shared one over here as well. But it's just a lot easier to share that kind of stuff over there. I also share a lot more sneak peeks in reels and stuff. So, like I said, if you are not following me, definitely go follow me. I have it linked in my description. It's just Cambria, no, I can't even think. Living_with_Cambria is my handle over there. So, basically the same thing that it is here with some underscores. But I share a ton more over there. You get more updates of the house also, just a more daily update, where this is a little bit different because I film about a week in advance. That way I have time to edit and I'm not stressing out about it. So pretty much everything you see this week got done last week. So yeah, definitely go follow me over on Instagram. You can also follow Bobby at Project Bobby. He shares some stuff that I don't share as well. So go check it out if you guys want to stay more in real time with the project on this house. That is the way to do it.
Trying to fly 'cause I'm light as a feather, but I can't hide, I get low.
So the other thing that makes this so difficult to get down, and you really can't see it here on camera, but there's this like wire mesh that they use to connect certain areas, and that stuff is so strong. There are so many times that we had like the boards cut and the drywall coming down, and it still wasn't coming down because of the wire mesh. So my dad was getting up there doing the real tedious like just nipping of all the wires and things like that, pulling the random nails down. This was crazy and messy. On these days, we ended up just having the kids stay in the bedrooms. That way they weren't breathing in all the insulation and dust and stuff like that. We definitely learned after that first day of demo that Bjorn does not do well with that. If you guys are new here, my youngest son has asthma and wasn't even thinking. They helped us tear down a wall because they were super excited to help out with it, and ended up causing breathing issues for him. So we've been a lot more strict when we're doing stuff like this, that he is not around whatsoever. But after we got that torn down, this once again is another day. But I had decided that instead of enlarging the closet in the what's going to be the nursery eventually, that we were going to build it out, but we were going to use it as pantry storage. So I was doing a lot of the measuring and cuts. I will say though, Bobby went in a lot with the screwdriver just because I don't know what it is, but I just could not get the screws to actually like screw in. So I was measuring and putting them in place, and then he would come in and screw it all together for me.
So it is a new day, and this is what we're dealing with now. Is today we're doing electrical after tearing apart the whole ceiling and everything. We do got to move. So this vent came down, so it's in the soffit. So we got to cut and remount it to a stud and then reattach it. If you can see up in there, right there, that needs to be reattached so we can get that vent connected. This vent right here needs to move because this is in this area is going to be the pantry, so this needs to move so it continues to cool this room here. Gotta frame out the pantry today and frame this so this can get drywall. But here's the biggest thing change is Cambriea informed me yesterday that we are flip-flopping the fridge with the stove. So the fridge will be here, stove's moving there. So what that entails is I need to move the electric outlet for the stove, which originally the stove was here or here-ish. So now I'm taking this apart, I gotta disconnect the wires. So then I can pull the stove line all the way through the wall and move it to over here. So then it will have power. And the fridge, I don't know if I'm gonna have to really change too much with that. Oh, and then the microwave that used to be up in a cabinet right here, which blocked the window. Yeah, cabinet here, microwave in cabinet, blocking all this natural light. No, thank you. Also, having a window here allows you to see the kids in the pool if you're in the kitchen. So all this block's gonna go bye-bye eventually. And we'll put a real window in. So that makes the microwave go above the stove, which will be over here. So I need to reconfigure the wiring so one, can handle the microwave, two, the fridge has enough power over here, and obviously the stove needs 50 amps. Me moving the wire to there. So that's what we got going today. Electrical.
Where do we go from? Where do we go from here?
So, like Bobby said, we are moving the fridge and the stove. So, I didn't originally think of doing that, but we decided to look into the IKEA kitchens, and they have a really cool setup where you pay to have someone come out and measure, and then you can work with a designer either in the store or online. I chose online because the closest IKEA is over an hour away. And he had the advice to move the fridge, and it just makes so much more sense. So we decided to move the fridge over. That way we could have more of an open flow. Our goal is the first week of August that we are going to order the stuff for the kitchen. We've been kind of holding off just because there's so many other projects going on that there's honestly no space to even worry about the kitchen at this point. Plus we need the drywall done and just so many other things. But we knew with the ceiling being down, this is the time to do any wiring that needs to be done because it's a lot easier than having to climb up into the attic.
Losing track of time. back of myself. I can make you promises to get into your head. Hey, 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 I just wanna say you are my new craze. Hey, 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 I just wanna say you are my new craze before you turn.
I am very lucky that Bobby is really, really handy. I think between his military training and then he worked for the cable company for a while, he's just done enough different jobs that have taught him a lot of little traits that have helped out a ton. So moving the wiring and the water line and things like that, he really doesn't have a difficult time on, which is definitely a money saver, because whenever you have any type of professional come out, it's always at least a couple $100, even for the simplest of things. So I am very appreciative that he can do all of this. But I am going to start on measuring out the pantry. I have to say I was very, very nervous about this. Just because I've never framed anything out before, so having to make sure the measurements were right and everything, I was definitely not very confident at first, but I love doing projects like this because by the time I'm done, it's like a big self-accomplishment thing, and I'm always very proud that I was able to do something that I originally thought I wasn't able to do. And even when I make mistakes like this and didn't measure right, can always go back and fix it. My dad always said, you can always cut more off. So if I go a little on the long side, that's a lot easier to fix than too short.
It's quite a lonely world that we're living in. Oh, baby, you are something special, I'm sure. Everything makes total sense when you're next to me. Times another drink and I'll go anywhere. The way you smell, like a flash in the universe. You are illuminating, I don't really care.
Now, I did have Bobby do a lot of the drilling just because, one, like stuff like this, it was literally into the cement slab. And I don't know why, but I was having the most difficult time. We were using 3-inch screws or something like that, and on the lower area straight in, like I was able to get enough of the right pressure to get it through, but any weird angled ones I was having so much trouble with. So you will notice that a lot of the time he was doing a lot of the drilling. Also, sorry about the lighting here. The sun kept going in front of and behind the clouds, and since we have the skylight, it was getting kind of funky. So some of these shots might be a little dark until the sun decided to come back.
Even if I told you I could never let you go, I'm not so sure you believe me. But if I mean to show you, I will never let you go. No, you don't see the logic of things. It's quite a lonely world that we're living in. Oh, baby, you are something special, I'm sure. Everything makes total sense when you're next to me.
I think this part of the pantry was what I was the most nervous about. Like, the other wall, like, I knew exactly where the framing was going. But over here, it was trying to figure out, like, calculating the thickness of the drywall when the drywall goes on the studs and everything, because I wanted it to line up correctly with everything. And then I didn't show this, but by the door, if I would have put the stud in one area, it wouldn't have worked. So this had me a little bit more nervous. I played around with it for a while. It ends up working out really well. The nice thing is it's just wood. You can recut it. You can buy more. So it's okay to, like, I don't know, trust yourself a little bit. Because I know at first I really was not trusting myself at all. But I was very, very proud of myself when I was all done.
'Cause I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid to love, not afraid to love you. I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid to love, not afraid to love you. They always bring all the lonely, but with you here nothing can scare me. I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid to love, not afraid to love you.
So, starting this upcoming week, I'm actually going to be working on the boys' bedroom, which I'm super, super excited about. I've got pretty much all their stuff to do their room, except their rug. However, I don't know when the rug's going to come in, so I still wanted to get it started. And so I've already started on it a little bit, and it is coming together so well. I'm really excited to share that. I'm really excited also just to, like, have a room in the house that's been completely done and finished. So my plan is the boys' room, and then I'm going to be doing Freya's room. I'm pretty sure. I might hold off on her room by a week. We'll kind of see. But I want to do another mural in her room, and I'm thinking doing something more nautical and whimsical. So we're going to see. I'm a little nervous. I want to do this really, really cool mural, and I think I can do it, but I'm nervous. So you guys will have to make sure you have your notifications on, because that mural will be coming up soon. And cross my fingers it turns out as well as what I'm envisioning in my head. I have to say, I'm pretty darn proud of myself. First time framing in. So, obviously got this framed for drywall. But then this, what I was framing in here, is the pantry. Yes, Bobby's been doing most of the actual screw work because it's just easier for him. But I don't think that looks too shabby. Not too shabby at all. A little bit of a moment and delay is we were supposed to have drywall put in. So drywall this, drywall that, that hole, the bathroom, which I can show you real quick, even though there's not a crazy amount to see because everything's taped off. One, there's a door. Not a wall, but there's a door. He is working on this wall. It's not level, so he's doing something to level it. But, so the drywall guy was supposed to come. He did come. He came today and start with drywall. But unfortunately, there's still wires. A lot more wires than we were expecting, and then we thought this right here was even with the rest of the ceiling. So we left it, and then found out that it is not, and that this center part has to come down as well. So, do on that. So we have more work to do before drywall. I was really hoping for today.
It's not about us. You know it's not about us. You know it's not about us. You know it's not about us.
See, I told you guys, you gotta trust the process. It turned out so much lighter and so much better after doing that citrus strip. I'm now just going in with a very fine sandpaper just to smooth it out and make it just not when I first started, I started with a higher grit sandpaper to really get the stain off. But you're supposed to slowly go down in grits. That way it's a more smooth finish. So that's what I'm just doing here before staining it. And don't worry, at the end I am going to actually show you the can of stain I got and what the name is, because I know a lot of you guys will ask. I was testing so many different stains, and I think this one is perfect. So I absolutely love it, and I'm probably going to use it on a lot of the woodwork in the house. That's why I was being so picky, is I wanted something that I could use and would flow throughout the entire house.
It's not about us. You know it's not about us. You know it's not about us. You know it's not about us.
So unfortunately I ended up not staining the entire table because the camera ended up dying on me. But I do get this top half. I went in with a brush because there are so many grooves and distressing on this table. I wanted to make sure it went in everywhere, so I brush it on with a brush, but then I'm just taking a rag and wiping off all of the excess. Oh, I am obsessed, though, with the way this table turns out and the way just, like, everything is flowing together. I know the style in this house is so different than the style in our old house, but that was one of the things I was so excited about, is changing it up. If you guys are newer here, before I did YouTube, I actually did interior design, so I love doing this. So being able to do this and start all over, I love all kinds of different design and feels. So I don't know, I'm just really enjoying this whole process and doing something different. I loved our old house. I thought it was beautiful and homey and cozy, but I get bored easy. So this gave me an opportunity to try something completely new. My camera died while I was staining it, but I got it finished. I really like it. My whole goal was to get it similar to the color of that chair, which it looks more similar in person. So I gotta let it dry, and then I'll just put a clear matte coat on it. Oh, also, I know people are gonna ask, this is what I got. So Minwax wood finish, semi-transparent, and I got it in the color, what is it? Weathered oak. Let's see if I can get up close for you guys to see that. Not really, but I think it turned out really good. Like I said, it was beautiful before. I just wanted it a little bit lighter and more like beechwood, driftwood type feel. And now it'll blend really nicely with that chair. So let it dry, and then I'll add the clear coat. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. We obviously got a lot done. I was hoping to show the drywall up and everything, but stuff happens, and we're gonna have to wait another week for that. But that's okay. I have a lot more exciting stuff to come up. I've been getting stuff for the boys' room, so I'm super excited to get their room finished out. Just a bunch of stuff. Bathroom should hopefully be done next week. And then our contractor is gonna start on our floors. Slowly everything's coming together. My goal and why we've been pushing so hard is I wanna be done by the holidays with the major stuff. Obviously, if there's accent walls and stuff like that, we still wanna get done. It's fine if that's not done right away, but I want this house to be like, feel very homey by the time holidays. Also, I got questions about the kitchen. Kitchen was only put on hold because we have nowhere to put kitchen stuff at this point. So we're trying to get the bathroom done and the floors done so I can order the kitchen stuff, and then we'll start on the kitchen. Cross your fingers, it's not back ordered, and once I order it, it's like a quick process, but we'll see. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.